So I posted on my Instagram story and I asked you, honeys, what are the foods that you just can't say no to? And I'm gonna provide you with some weight loss swaps for those foods. I'm also going to be showing you everything that I eat today. And hi, I'm Emmie. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Emmie. I'm a nutritionist and the creator of the Slim on Starch program, where you work with me as well as a mindset coach and a nutrition coach to lose weight on a plant-based diet. If you're interested in that, go to healthyemmie.org or just click the link in the down bar. But first, I'm hungry, so we're gonna have a meal together. Let me show you what we're gonna have. So in yesterday's video, I was taking notes on my iPad and putting it up on the screen, and I loved it because it means you can take notes too. So we're taking notes again. Let's talk about these swaps. So Healthy Dad, who is full of wisdom, told me something many moons ago that I will always remember, which is, if you can't move forward, move sideways. So if you find that there are these foods that you are just dying to have, it's not that you can't have them. And I'll say something that I always say to my clients is, we categorize these foods in my program with my clients. We call them later foods, because you're going to learn how to incorporate these down the line after we have your really strong SOS Slim on Starch foundation. Then we can incorporate these foods down the line. And you see it with Healthy Mummy, for example. I showed it in a recent video. She had a glass of wine and she had a cookie on Easter or Mother's Day. I can't even remember, probably both, because she's at the point now where she can incorporate these things here and there. And she wasn't at that point at the beginning, but because she really invested the time to make a very strong foundation, she could incorporate these things down the line. So first off, calling them later foods, not never foods. If you call them never foods that you're never going to have again, then you're gonna binge on them, I promise you, because the forbidden fruit effect is going to take over, where you say, I can never have these foods again, and then you want them a million times more. Anyway, Should we get started, V, with the real replacements? Because what are you going to do while you're on your weight loss journey? I understand you sometimes you just kind of want to scratch that itch, you know? So we can replace, don't restrict. Replace, don't restrict. Must we stand here, V? Must we stand here? So food number 1 that I see is popcorn. Okay, you gotta get down, handsome, okay? You gotta get down, thank you. Food number 1 is popcorn. Instead of having popcorn, we are going to do air fried corn on the cob. I mean, think about it. Popcorn comes from corn in the first place. You buy frozen corn on the cob, you put it in your air fryer at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. Honey, sprinkle some nutritional yeast on there, some salt if you need to, some lemon juice. It is from another planet good. And you know what? The popcorn is this hand-to-mouth food where you never really feel satisfied by it. You never really feel full from it. The corn itself, the whole corn, is actually going to make you feel full and satisfied. And after you have that air-fried corn on the cob, you are going to be feeling satisfied, full. You're not going to need food for a while. Whereas once you get snacky with the popcorn, you just want a million more bowls of popcorn. Next up is chips. Trust me, I get it. There was a place that we used to go to in college called La Cocina. If you know anybody that goes to Elon in North Carolina, they know La Cocina, I can tell you that. Or La Fiesta. I was a La Cocina girl. I wasn't that much of a La Fa girl. We had every single birthday there, every single celebration, and they had bottomless, free chips and salsa. My arteries were not happy with me at that time. Trust me, I get it. Chips are delicious. It's another one of those hand-to-mouth foods that once you start, you just can't stop. But I actually today am going to be making oil-free air-fried corn tortilla chips. So stick around. It's gonna be the next thing that I eat today. So I'm gonna show you exactly how we can make those. Ice cream. I often find that when it comes to something like ice cream, we're not having ice cream at 7 a.m., right? We're not having ice cream at 12 p.m. It's always the late night ice cream. It's curling up, it's watching a show, it's relaxing at the end of the day, and you take out your ice cream and that's when you want it. Isn't that interesting that there's always the environmental cues? It's late at night, the lights are out, maybe your husband has gone to bed, you turn on your Netflix show and you just want to sit there with your ice cream. Interesting. Is it the ice cream itself, or do we think that something else is going on here? Do we think that maybe the environment is triggering you? Do we think that maybe you're looking for something emotional there? You want that sweet taste as you watch the show and you can just relax at the end of the night and let loose and not think about work. It's likely that you've come to associate ice cream with feelings of happiness. What did you do when you were little and you got to celebrate something? You were taken out for ice cream. So now we've built that relationship in the brain of good feelings, relaxation, celebration, unwind, ice cream. These two things have formed a connection in your brain. So it makes sense that you're craving that at the end of the night. But what you're craving is not the ice cream itself. It's those feelings. It's relaxation, it's unwinding, it's pleasure that comes from the ice cream. Maybe it's the coldness physically on your tongue and in your mouth gives you a certain feeling. It's so many other things aside from the ice cream itself. So let's replace the ice cream. Let's go buy some cubed frozen mango or get some fresh grapes, put those in the freezer, and let's sit down at the end of the night and do the same exact thing that you do with the ice cream, but do it with this instead. And let's see what comes up for you. Let's see how that feels for you. Because I'm willing to bet that it's not the ice cream itself that you are enjoying, but it's the feelings of relaxation, pleasure, unwinding, and letting loose at the end of the night. And how else can we get those outside of food? Do you need to be frisky with your husband for the pleasure aspect? Do you need to unwind with a meditation or a brain dump? Or maybe watching something on YouTube that's not getting you all wrapped up, or the news at the end of the night? Do you need to watch somebody zen on YouTube that calms you down, some ASMR? There's something else that's going on here, and it's not just the ice cream. But because I understand that you want that cold taste on the tongue, you want to sit down with something at the end of the night, let's replace it for now. And I have a client who loves her frozen mango, and she says, I take the frozen mango and I put it on my tongue and I kind of play with it in my mouth, and it melts and it starts to get sweeter and sweeter. So it's a quite pleasant experience. So you can go for that. So let's see how that goes for you. So we're replacing this with frozen mango or grapes. All right, I'm going to continue on with 3 more after my next meal, but let me show you how to make these chips. Let's have them. So I have a feeling that is not going to be the last time that I have Mexican food today. I'm going over to Healthy Parents tonight to help my mom with backing up her computer and her phone and everything. She never updates her software, which makes me very, very nervous because I don't want her to be out somewhere and her phone doesn't work because she doesn't update her software, and you know. So I'm going over there to help do all of that. and I got myself a meal out of it in exchange from whatever Healthy Dad is going to be having. It's likely going to be, in fact, I know it's going to be from the Healthy Dad Cookbook, which it's available while you're watching this video. I have a feeling he's gonna be making his Mexican food tonight. I really want it to be tofu ginger, but I don't, like, I could really go for his tofu ginger tonight, but I don't think I don't think we're gonna come out with a W on that one. But anyway, let me help you with some swaps that you need. So let's see what else I got for responses on my Instagram story. Okay, next up on the list was pasta. And the thing about pasta is I think this is some residual from the whole low carb thing with thinking that pasta is bad. Pasta is not bad for you. Carbs are not bad for you. The problem with pasta is that most of the time it comes drenched in cheese and it's cooked in butter and there's a heavy cream sauce. It's the animal products that are the issue. The pasta itself is not the issue. It's the butter, cheese, and cream and chicken and meatballs that usually come with it. You can absolutely be healthy. You can even lose weight eating pasta. Healthy Dad ate pasta basically every day while he was losing weight. And his weight loss at the beginning was insane. I don't even want to say how insane it was because I don't want to set unrealistic expectations, but he was literally losing a pound a day, which is so beyond what we could even imagine. We say healthy, sustainable weight loss is about a pound per week, but he was eating pasta pretty much every day. First off, make sure your pasta, it doesn't have any of the animal products. We need to make sure all of that is gone, but also emphasize the vegetables. I see when people are making pasta and they're on the starch solution, they're totally lacking the veggies. Let me give you an example. This is what I usually see when people are making pasta. We don't want it to look like that. We want it to look like this instead if you are eating pasta and trying to lose weight. So increase the veggies tremendously. We want to get rid of the animal products. I'll just write animals, make it pretty blunt. Make sure that there's no oil. Opt for a whole wheat pasta or something that is gluten-free so that it's not the highly processed white flour. Not that that's the worst thing in the world, but you are going to be better off if your goal is weight loss to have something that is the whole intact grain because it's higher in fiber, and that's going to help you with weight loss for a number of reasons. One of them being you're going to be more full. The second being that it helps blunt insulin response, and if the fiber is helping blunt the insulin response and your insulin stays lower, then you're going to be more likely to be burning fat. If your insulin spikes way too high, then you're not going to be in fat burning mode. Also, I would love if you could make your own sauce, which is not hard at all. Actually, Healthy Mummy is putting in her cookbook, which is in the down bar as well, a homemade sauce recipe so that you don't have to buy the jarred ones. The jarred sauces are just filled with junk. You could buy a tomato sauce, tomato paste from the store and add in the seasonings that you enjoy, some onion, some garlic, and have your own sauce. So whole wheat pasta, steamed veg, and make your own sauce, and you absolutely can have pasta. Wow, a lot of people are saying cookies, and I'm not surprised. Cookies are freaking delicious. Well, let me do a little shout out, and I will give you a legit answer, but the Healthy Desserts Cookbook, that is accessible in the down bar, and I have plenty of cookie recipes in there. Replace, don't restrict. When you can't move forward, move sideways. These are healthy cookie recipes and not the ones that are store-bought and filled with junk. So that is an option. But also, let's talk about what's really going on here. What are cookies? Cookies are a triple threat because they're an intersection of three things. We have sugar, and let's talk about sugar. Sugar is the body's preferred source of fuel. We need every single one of the hundreds of trillions of cells in our body runs off of sugar. And so we need sugar in order to survive. The body thrives and lives on sugar. So when we have something that is super, super high in sugar, the dopamine in our brain goes wild because the dopamine is the hormone that motivates us to take action. And we have to have sugar in order to live. So when we eat something that's high in sugar, our dopamine goes wild. Now, the problem with cookies is they're loaded with tons of processed sugar, very high in calories, and it's not just the sugar that's in there, but it's also, there's fat in there as well. Why is this a problem? Because in nature, you're not going to find foods that are both high in sugar and high in fat. When we have something that's high in fat, fat is also high in calories. Fat is 9 calories per gram, so something that's high in fat is high in calories. When we have something that's high in fat, that also is going to make our dopamine go wild because it is so high in calories, and our brains still think that there's a chance that we're going to be experiencing a famine, and so it encourages us to eat food that's high in calories. So cookies are a problem because nowhere in nature do we find something that's high in sugar and high in fat. And then I'll tell you another thing is there's the sodium content as well. Especially those salted chocolate chip cookies, for example. You go look at some Chips Ahoy and look at the sodium content. They're high in sodium as well because not only is the sugar gonna give us a dopamine spike, the fat is gonna give us the dopamine spike, which is pleasure, and the salt is gonna give us a dopamine spike, which is pleasure as well, because nowhere in nature does sodium exist in huge quantities, but it does in a Chips Ahoy. And not only in the, please don't sue me, Chips Ahoy. Not only in the Chips Ahoy do we have a lot of salt, but we also got a lot of fat, and we also got a lot of sugar. And in nature, natural foods don't have all these things happening together. So your brain goes crazy when you eat this stuff. So if you think that you are the problem because you can't resist cookies, you are not the problem. These foods are designed, and these companies spend millions of dollars to make it so that you're addicted to these foods. So what's really going on here is a dopamine cascade, baby. A dopamine cascade. That's what's going on. Your brain is feeling euphoric from these foods. So what would I do in this case? Well, you could get the Healthy Desserts Cookbook from healthyhunnie.org, but also let me just give you a quick one that you could do. You can combine dry oats plus cinnamon plus banana, and you can make these together, you know what I'm trying to do here. You can mix all these together, put them on parchment paper, put them in the oven and bake them until they're golden brown, I guess. I'm not exactly sure how long it would take, but you can make your own cookies in this sense. They're not going to taste like Chips Ahoy. They're not going to be as good as the ones that are in my cookbook, but if you're really desperate in this moment, dry oats, cinnamon, and banana, mix them all together, put them on parchment paper, put them in the oven. Oh, I also have a YouTube video that I'm gonna link down below of cookies that are these ginger cookies. You could use those as well, or you could get some from my cookbook. So as it turns out, we're having Mexi, which is going to be in the Healthy Dad Cookbook. So
as usual.
Yep, so we will save the recipe and you can check it out in the cookbook. right, you've traveled back in time because I'm filming my outro before I go over to Healthy Parents, but I love you, honeys. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end of the video, comment triple threat because of the triple threats that we talked about. I love ya, and I'll see you in my next video.